So I had quite high hopes for the skeptic community at one point. Now it's more a group of people who are obsessed with talking about the ideas of feminism, not the actual real-world application of feminism, and how it's what changes, the forces it has, the things like that. It's now become a home for people who spout conspiracy theories and, moot, really right-wing ideas, and, that's fine. But a lot of these things and ideas that they are mooting don't really, there's a lot of pushback. And from someone who is a skeptic, they discuss how, this is really good for the right. And then when they come to discussing the left idea, they don't discuss the positives of it like they would if it was a right idea. Instead, they discuss all the negatives. But when, again, go back to that right idea, they don't discuss the negatives of that idea. So there is no balance in this, and you don't really get an accurate picture to what most of these people are really trying to get across. And that's, that's fine. But my general hope was that they were going to start discussing and really targeting the anti-vax and especially the alternative medicine community that exists on YouTube. It's quite prevalent. It's quite prevalent on YouTube. Prevalent? I don't know. I think I've just made that word up. It's quite a big community out there, and a lot of these people use this almost as a marketing platform to get new people to sign up to their products and things like that. And in the past, we have discussed this on my channel way back in the day. In fact, I went through this guy's book, literally chapter by chapter, discussing what this guy does. And this guy is that cancer can be cured by naturalistic means, all the usual quacky dacky stuff. I haven't been through it in quite a while. I wonder if I can. Page 18, cancer. He. This is it. Yeah. So he posits that the result that chemotherapy is 97% ineffective. We would know if chemotherapy was 97% ineffective, but of course he's horribly misquoting one of the studies. In fact, it's all coming back to me now. He's horribly misquoting a Australian study that only studied one type of cancer. He didn't move it all out. He doesn't discuss things in this book like chemotherapy on particularly young children and the success rate that chemotherapy has on leukemia. So yeah, if you want to go back and watch that, it is on a playlist on my channel. Like I say, we do go through all the good books and stuff. The other one that I did discuss and really took offence to is this. This is a book by Max Gerson, and it's called a cancer therapy. It's known as the Gerson therapy. And the Gerson therapy is another complete quack nonsense, because they claim to have this ultimate cure for cancer, and all you have to do to cure your cancer is drink about 13 litres a day of fresh juice and have 6 coffee enemas a day. Yes, coffee enemas. And that somehow cures your cancer. And this book's even more full of ridiculous stuff, because he says he's got these cures, but none of them are long-term. He just goes, oh yes, they're cured, and that's it. He doesn't follow up with them, by the way. On one of the patients, I can't remember where it is now, but you'd have to, again, I'd have to look it up, but there's one patient, he's a young child, and literally all he gives them is an orange. And in the congressional hearings, this went to a congressional hearing where he was laughed out of the hearing. They bring in another doctor who cites this, who basically said this mother had been going to this doctor, and basically they'd given him an orange and she wanted a second opinion. good for her that she did, because the child actually had pneumonia, and an orange wasn't certainly going to help him, and especially back in that day, pneumonia is quite a serious illness. So again, go back in the depths of time for my channel and sort of discuss that. But one of the things that I want to really discuss is the fact that anti-vax stuff has been really gaining ground, and this can have huge detrimental effects to society, because there are, at this moment in time, numerous outbreaks of measles, a disease that you can basically not have ever in your life if you get vaccinated at it at a very young age. And of course, the older you are, the more damage it can do to your body, the more complications arise, and it can kill you. So there is a real serious issue that really needs to be addressed on this. And I've done anti-vax vids about this, and I had high hopes that this is what the skeptic community were actually going to be able to turn to. Because one of the things the skeptic community did back in the day was that they were able to really counter the Christian narrative that intelligent design deserved to be taught in schools, and they did that really effectively. And they, to an extent, it was part of the force that managed to stop that and be able to bring down this. It's still a threat in America, especially in Texas, and the community there is still fighting against it. But if the skeptic community had turned on the alternative medicine community, I think that could have done a lot of good for society, especially in dealing with all this anti-vax stuff that's been going on. I mean, if you want a really good example, and this is one of the other things that we've got to watch out for, especially in politics, is that the far right really do not like vaccinations. You want a perfect example? I said I'd cover this in Italy, and I really need to go back and find out what happened, but I'll give you the quick rundown. Is that the current far-right party in Italy has put in a new health minister, and this health minister has a council of experts, and these council of experts are basically the top in their field in Italy to do with vaccinations, virology, you name it. That's their speciality. So they spent years studying and practicing and making sure they are top of their game. What does their new health minister come and do? Well, their new health minister is very anti-vax, and basically she removes all those people to put in, on her words, people with other people with different ideas so that they can have a voice. If I was a health minister in charge of a country, I would want experts sitting on my panel so that I could consult them on what they wanted. And that's the worrying thing. It's I don't know at the moment what they were replaced with. I don't know if there was an outrage and they backed down on this. I'm not 100% sure. I really do need to go look it up, to be honest. But if it was, please do let me know down below what happened on that. So finishing off this video, and I think it's something that really needs to be made aware of, is when this whole MMR crisis really started. And the starting point for that was back in 1997 with Andrew Wakefield and his completely bogus study of the MMR vaccine. Is that if you are one of those children that grew up in that time, so you'd be about early 20s, I think, maybe 20, 23, somewhere around there. If you find out that you didn't get the MMR vaccine and you still haven't got it, then I'd urge you, go and get vaccinated. There are a lot of measles outbreaks around the country, around the world, that are really seriously breaking out. In fact, you've had Donald Trump, the guy who questioned the safety on this in his run-up to his campaign, and even had Robert Kennedy, one of the big figures in the anti-vax movement, come and meet with him to talk about creating a council for vaccine safety. Now, luckily, that doesn't seem to have actually materialised, which is good. But then you had this massive measles outbreak that's currently going on in the US, and he's now turned around and said, you need to get vaccinated. So that's But that's just the stupidity of Donald Trump, but it's also the stupidity of this as well. So I urge you, if you do know that you didn't get vaccinated, please do go get vaccinated. It will possibly save your life, maybe, in the future. So please do. And, you know, hopefully I think on this channel, I think we will be occasionally talking a bit more about anti-vax stuff, because I do see it really as an issue, as a problem, especially in terms of public health, that really does need to be addressed.